Hey everybody, let me tap. There I am. Hi everybody, it's Kate Richbourg, and there's Zoe Ferrant right over there. And we're coming at you live from my jewelry studio in South San Francisco, California. I look like a big old mess, don't I? So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to hand this camera over to Zoe, and we're going to do a quick last-minute gift on making a metal cuff. So let me turn you guys around. There we go. And we can go into... Okay, we got it? We got it? We got it?
Yeah.
We got it. Okay, you guys. So this is what we've got going on here. Let me show you. It's super easy. This is actually something that Zoe's making that I wanted to share with you guys. It's a pretty cool gift. As always, you can find everything Kate Richbourg related at katerichbourg.com. But what Zoe used is my flat wire that I have in my Etsy store. And she came in and did some cool stamping and embellishing on it. You can see that there. And what she's done already is she added some paste solder. She used this guy here, this easy paste solder. You can see that there. And that easy paste solder is what we use to stack these letters. Can you see that right there? So that's the little background, that little copper piece, and then that little sterling letter. So it's sterling, copper, sterling. And then this piece is going to go right onto that cuff. So I'm going to add the paste solder on the back of this. So let me get my solder pick. And you know, I like using paste solder, especially for beginning projects, because it's pretty easy to deal with. And you don't have to fiddle with a bunch of little, little bits of solder and stuff like that. So I'm going to try and get this in the center. I'm just going to eyeball it, really. I'm going to get it in the center, and I'm going to add just a little bit of solder. And you can see I'm going to add just a couple of little balls. This is about a 2mm size ball, okay? And I'm going to put one right next to the other, like so. Can you see that there? The two little balls. Now, as I said earlier, this little letter, what we've done here already is there's paste solder between each of these layers. And I'm using easy for everything, you guys, because we're going to solder these all at the same time. So I'm going to push this right down, and you can see that's all ready to go. And remember, you guys, one of the rules of soldering, and can you see that paste solder is just kind of holding it right there. And I'm going to center everything nicely. So one of the rules of soldering, you guys, is that there needs to be a flush join between all of your pieces. Okay? And so I can see that join, and I can feel that join is all set. So now I'm going to bring it over to my soldering station, just like so. And for those of you who are just watching me for the first time tonight, usually I'm on Fridays, right? You can see me on Friday mornings doing something live from my jewelry studio. But I thought since Zoe and I were working in here tonight, we were doing something kind of cool, I just thought I'd share it with you. So you can go give me a follow. So usually I can answer all of your questions and interact, but today's just kind of a little quick one-off, so I'm sorry if I'm not getting to your questions. But Friday mornings, give me a follow, and I do all kinds of cool stuff right here on Periscope. And then it's archived later to my YouTube channel, which you can also follow. Okay, so let's get back to soldering. So what I've got here on my soldering surface, I'm using a charcoal block, I've got some spray flux, and I've got my flat little component that's going to eventually become my cuff. So I'm going to spray this with some spray flux just to help it along. You know, paste solder already has flux in it, but I like to use a little spray of cuprinil to give it just that little extra hit of flux, and that flux is what helps that solder flow nice and evenly. Pardon me. Now, the other thing is that this cuff is flat at this point. We're going to shape it after we solder. So let's go ahead, turn on the torch. I'm using a butane microtorch. Hopefully it's pretty full. I'm going to pop it on, and now I'm just going to come in and start to heat my piece. And see how I bring that flame all along, and I'm drying my flux. As the flux dries, I can come in even closer with the sweet spot of my torch. Now I'm going to start to heat. Pardon me. Now I've got a lot of light on this, so I'm just going to shade it just a little bit. With that paste solder, you can see how it flames a little bit, it smokes a little, then we'll see maybe a little bit of flame. Now, as I start to bring that metal up to temperature, we're going to see that solder flow. Again, one of the rules of soldering, you guys, is that it's the metal that makes your solder flow, not the heat of the torch. Your metal needs to be brought up to an even temperature, and you're going to see that solder flow. So I'm going to just move my torch slowly and evenly across the piece, hit that center, move it around over here, get my hand out of the way because it's getting a little warm. And you can see, I don't know if you can see, but I can see live here, that I can see my solder, my metal, has started to give me a nice orange glow. And I can see by reading that metal that the temperature is correct and my solder has flowed. Now remember, I'm using easy solder. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my torch. I'm going to let that sit for just a minute. Now remember, I used easy solder on all of those pieces. So I had 4 pieces stacked up. I had the cuff, I had that little copper square, I had the sterling square, or the sterling square first, then the copper square, and then the initial. So there were 4 layers. The layers were pretty small here, so it wasn't like I was trying to solder something big all at the same time. So that easy solder was perfect for it. So now I'm just going to take it in to my quenching bowl over here and quench it, and then that'll be the true test of whether everything soldered on nicely. And I think what I've got here is a beautifully soldered little piece. Next, we're going to shape it and hammer it and work harden it and clean it, and it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful cuff. But that's just how easy it is to solder, you guys. So again, catch me on Friday mornings on Periscope here live, later on my YouTube channel, and all things Kate Richbourg and soldering, find me at katerichbourg.com. Thanks, you guys. Have a great evening, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.